Hello?
Hello,
Is,
Edwin. I
is this
talked to
President
your
Trump?
friend. Hello, Edwin. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, President Trump. How are you?
I'm doing good. I haven't heard from you. I haven't.
You have my friend on the line?
No, I talked to him 2 weeks ago.
What happened?
He told me that he couldn't hear from you, and that's why he never did anything.
Well,
Edwin, did you get him back on the
I
line?
gotta be honest with you, President Trump. Uh, I found out that my friend Harold slept with my girlfriend. Now
Oh
he doesn't
my.
know. He doesn't know. I know, but I know. I know.
Oh my.
And that's why I've been.
So,
Now I do want to borrow the money from him. That's why I haven't told him
oh,
that I know what he's done. But I definitely. That's why I've been avoiding him. You know.
I want to make you a deal, Edwin. Do you have 20,000?
Yes, I have 20,000, President Trump.
Okay. And can you do a wire transfer?
I'm sure I can.
With 20,000, I could make you a deal. Okay.
Well,
This deal,
well, you
I would
you
like.
you 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 know the art of the deal. So you wrote the book on that, right? The art of the deal.
Okay, because 80,000 is a lot of money, right? So I'm making you a deal for 20,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that sounds like a
So
great deal to me. Yes.
So if you could wire 20,000, I promised you today is Wednesday.
Yes.
Uh, I promise you
Yes.
by Friday we'll be there because there's a lot going on and a lot of different attendees. We have to do
Well, I'll do what
our
I'll do
person.
whatever needs to be done, President Trump. I was wondering, uh, since I don't know if it's too much to ask for, but would you be able to contact me or get Cash Patel on the phone with me? You know, I would really like him to look into my girlfriend's phone records and text messages, emails, and all that, so that when I approach my soon-to-be ex-friend, I have proof that he slept with my girlfriend. Would you be
Okay.
able to do that?
It's going to cost money to do that because
How
the
much
phone
money,
service,
President Trump?
it's gonna cost you at least $2,000 for Verizon Wireless or what's the name of the phone company?
That yeah, well
Is,
she has
is
what
it
is
a
this called?
T-Mobile?
Mint. No,
T-Mobile?
she's a cheap woman. She has Mint. You know that cheap service Mint.
Oh, cellular
Yeah.
mint. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
How much is
So
that gonna be?
I don't know. It's gonna cost you like 2,000, but maybe you'd have to go and send the money, or you'd have to send all of the money at once. 22,000 or so.
22,000.
Edwin, can we talk? Because your girlfriend came on to me. Bros before hoes, buddy.
How? I didn't think you were going to pick up the phone, Harold. President Trump, I called Harold just to confront him, and I didn't think you would pick up. Harold, you know, Rocco told me you slept with my girlfriend.
I did, but she came on to me first. I'm really sorry, Edwin. Oh God, I feel terrible.
What about men code? Don't you know the men code?
I know, bros before hoes. I'm sorry. Do you? You're talking to him right now, aren't you?
I,
You have President Trump
I
on the
have
phone, don't
President
you?
Trump on the line with me.
Why are
President
you
Trump,
disturbing
it
him?
is
He's
Harold.
on his way. He's on the way to the Vatican to go to Pope Francis's funeral with
I
his
heard,
beautiful wife
I
Melanoma.
heard,
Well, I've got one question, President Trump. When I send
yes.
the 22,000, is that with the tariffs included or is it tariff free?
There's no tariffs included. I'm making you a deal. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, Howard, how are you doing?
Oh, hello, sir. It's good to speak to you. I tried calling you yesterday, but the call didn't go through. I thought maybe your number had
How
changed.
can you look at me in the face,
I thought
Harold,
maybe the Secret Service made
after
you
you
change
slept
it
with
for
my
national
girlfriend?
security reasons.
What kind of man are you?
Oh, Edwin,
Yes,
don't be
Harold,
sore at
what
me.
what
I'm
what
sorry.
happened there?
Well, President Trump, I don't think I need to pay you the 2,000 anymore since he already admitted it. I thought he was going to deny it, but he's so shameless. Yes, he said it. What do you have to
Howard,
say for yourself, Harold?
Oh, hold on, the president's speaking. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Harold, what happened? Did you slept with his girlfriend?
I
What
did,
happened?
but she told me that they had broken up. I think she was just on the rebound looking for revenge or something. I don't know exactly what happened. All I know is I went through
How
half
could
my
you
stock of
how could you
Viagra
believe that
for the
if I
month.
show you pictures of us in bed all the time? And how could you believe her?
Oh God, Edwin, I feel so terrible. Oh, what can I do to make this up to you?
Well, I think you should. President Trump just made me a deal, the art of the deal. So he
Oh
took the
yes.
payment down to 20,000.
Well,
So I'm thinking you
that
should
book had
pay
a
that now
ghostwriter, but that's okay.
if you want to
It,
be my friend.
oh, okay. Well, can you drive me to the bank, Edwin? I can't drive anymore. The state doesn't allow me
Yeah,
to
yeah,
drive my
yeah.
Zamboni on public roads.
Yeah, I can do that. Sure.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, God.
President Trump,
Oh,
could you believe that?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe that.
I mean,
Let let Harold
at least when
drive
you
me.
cheated, you didn't cheat on anybody's wife, right? I mean, they were all single, which is a good thing.
well, Edwin, let's not forget about Stormy Daniels.
He admit that he's sorry, Edwin.
What? Well, he
And that's
doesn't
how it
sound
goes.
sorry, President Trump.
Can I get a
He
presidential
doesn't sound
pardon?
She's a
sorry.
bad girl. She's a bad girl. She's a bad girl. And that's the
So,
thing. She's a bad girl.
so now we're blaming her now, huh?
Yes, she should take the blame. Don't throw away your friend
Let,
for
let me try to get a
how.
hold. Let me try to get a hold of her. See if she picks up the phone.
Bros
And
before hoes, President
hold
Trump.
on.
Bros before hoes.
Hello.
Hey, baby, can you hear me?
Oh,
Harold, don't say anything. Hello.
I've been waiting.
Well, hey, baby, hold on.
See,
I've got a
President
question
Trump,
for you.
if she came on to you, you wouldn't be able to help yourself either.
I told you to stay quiet, Harold. Now you're giving up the shit.
God,
Did you
I'm
sleep with
sorry.
Harold or not?
Who are you talking to?
You, honey, you. Harold
Hey,
just said
Eileen.
you came on to him. That you practically raped him, he says.
What? Oh, no, 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 no,
Harold.
no.
Well, Edward,
And I also,
she
I'm
came
sorry,
over and she
you
was.
have to pay your respect to President Trump, honey. He's on the line.
Oh, okay.
Hold
Miss-
on, I think he left. Hello, President Trump? Yeah, he just dropped. Let me call him back.
He doesn't want to get in the middle of the drama. Oh God.
Stick with what you want, President Trump. You know, that's why we voted for you.
Not
That's it.
everyone
You-
will.
You hear the song I'm playing for you,
the
Your Honor?
Not
You hear the
everyone
song I
will
just played?
accept the change.
Edwin, take your hat
That's in
off.
your honor, President Trump.
Can you hear me?
Yes, President Trump. Yes, Your Eminence. I'm here.
Yes. Where is your friend? Is he gone?
He's on the line. And my girlfriend came on the line and he's denying it now. He says it never
Can
happened.
you hear me, sir? No, I'm not denying it. I'm explaining what happened. She sent me my phone dinged, and I said, "Who is this?" And it said it was from Eileen, and she sent me a sexy leg pic and told me she wanted to model her new outfit from Extreme Restraints. Just one thing led to another.
What's going on in the States right now? Not everyone is gonna be okay with decisions of someone else. disagreements will happen
Well, you're saying in the
sometime.
States you're
Right.
going to be upset that
So are you
I
buying
slept with Edwin's
Greenland?
girlfriend?
I would like to make the agreement for every
Right?
American citizens to be happy. Everyone should be able to feed their family. Everyone should live
Well, at least
peacefully.
now I can find some eggs. They're not too. They're still expensive, but at least now that I can find some eggs, President Trump. So you're going on the positive way. You're okay,
It's
President
Michael.
okay.
President
It's
Trump,
okay, my friends. We just have to be patient because we will succeed. Because that's what we're destined for greatness. So we will
I,
succeed.
President Trump, are you going to Rome to for the Pope's funeral?
I already sent a tribute, but you know that in Rome they already have a letter from me stating,
They do.
well,
yes, I
sir,
write a letter
but sir,
to,
they said that you're
you
going to
know,
the Vatican to the funeral with your
You
beautiful
know,
wife, Melanoma.
he didn't say very nice things about you, President Trump. That Pope, he wasn't very nice to you.
I know that the problem which he have is the Bible, and we all read the Bible and we understand it in our own different terms.
Of
In our
course, yeah.
different ways, we all understand it different. But
I understand.
for the
I,
Pope,
like one of the commandments where it says, "Thou shalt not sleep with another man's wife." You
right,
can take it as what it says, so you can say just as long as the other guy doesn't find out, right? And then it's okay. So you can take it as exactly. I understand. Okay.
Hey,
as
Edwin, if
you
I can get a
know,
presidential pardon, will you forgive me?
that's okay. I've been through that when I was much younger. Should say that my friends, they're attractive guys. They have their money, and we like girls. Party and
Well,
stuff.
aren't
Yes.
you worried
Yes.
that one of those attractive friends would maybe mess around with Melania?
If you want to keep your money, Edwin, you just have to stay away from all those girls, okay?
That's,
We'll let you spend thousands of dollars. You have to
I
know
think
that.
that's what I find mostly offensive. If at least if she would have at least cheated with a good-looking guy, I would understand. But he cheated on me with Harold. And no offense, Harold, but you're pretty ugly, man.
Oh, God, Edwin, I thought you were my friend. He's sitting here listening to the
Oh,
president talk about all his
you're
escapades
funny.
on
You're
Epstein
funny,
Island.
Edwin. You're a funny guy. I think you're a nice guy. I think that you deserve an apology. And
President
you
Trump, I have a
deserve
question, sir.
Sir, Mr.
a good.
President, I can't understand you very well.
President Trump, is there any way you can give me a presidential pardon for sleeping with Edwin's girlfriend, sir?
I'm saying that you're a good friend. You're a good friend, and you apologize, and that's okay.
But
That
what
would
I
never
really
help
need
you
is a
anyway,
presidential
Harold. A
pardon.
presidential pardon is only for federal crimes. This is a man code crime. That's not going to help you.
Well, he can use an executive order then and change it. He's the president. He can do whatever he wants.
Well, that is true.
Yes, but you're not married, so that's the big deal right there. That's the difference. If you were married and
Oh.
yeah, that's
Also,
the
the commandment where it says, "Thou shalt not sleep with another man's wife," it's literally a wife. So if it's a girlfriend, it's okay.
Yes, a bachelor is a bachelor. A whore is gonna be a whore,
Well,
and you name it.
Did you say a hoe is going to be a hoe?
Yes, and a Jezebel is gonna be a Jezebel. That's exactly how
President
it is.
Trump, if you saw Edwin's girlfriend, you would have done the same thing that you did with Stormy Daniels. You absolutely would have. You wouldn't be able
Well,
to restrain yourself.
Well, you have
well,
to
that's the
put
only
the
reason
law
I'm
on a
talking to you,
finger.
Harold, because I can't be like a hypocrite, you know. If I am all for Mr. Trump, then I can't totally blame you for what you did, you know.
It's
Well, sir,
okay, Edwin. You have to accept that you are not married to
Well,
the wrong person. Okay.
what
sir, you
would
might
you
be.
do, President Trump? Would you stay with the woman? She's denying it too, by the way.
No, she will be my friend. From that there on, because friends do stuff like that. Friends will sleep with your girlfriend because it's just a girlfriend. You hear her, it's just a girlfriend.
Well,
It's
for
not a wife.
President Trump, you might
Yeah.
be interested to know that I kept my MAGA hat on. So next
Well, I
time
hope
I
you
I'll
did.
know,
drape an American
Edwin.
flag on my back and
Edwin,
do it for my
it's
country.
okay. You'll be okay. It's just that you
I
never
don't think so.
married the
I
wrong
don't think so,
person.
President Trump. I don't think I'll be okay. The more I think
You,
about it,
we will find a nice girl for you. You know,
but I
you
don't want a
find
nice
someone.
girlfriend, President Trump. I don't want a
You
nice
don't.
girl. I want a
You need
nasty
a one.
girlfriend. I want
You need a
what?
one.
Nice girlfriends are boring.
You could get a nasty wife. Get someone that is good in bed. That'll keep you forever. Someone that loves you for you. Okay?
Okay, President
Whoa,
Trump.
is there a goat on Air Force One? Did you hear that, Edwin? Sounded like an animal.
No, it's
I did tell. No,
no,
it's not on my side. Do you have any pets, President Trump?
no. It's not that. It's a game. Elon Musk is playing
How
this
can
game.
how can you have time for a game when you have the China tariff wars
No,
and you know and what about this vice president of yours using I think he was using WhatsApp for war plans and all that. What are you gonna do about that?
they don't want any more loss of lives and damage. Already been done.
Oh, sir, that
But
reminds
what
me.
are you
I
gonna
got a
fire
text
the
this morning.
black
Edwin,
president?
hold on. Edwin, hold on. I got a text this morning from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and he was
Right?
texting me classified war plans. What the hell's that all about?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was him, not you, vice president. Yeah, he was using WhatsApp, I think.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of blogs on the internet, showing that we're ready for war. Yes, we're ready, but we're not gonna start a war. But we are prepared in case we have any intruders or invaders. We are prepared.
I thought we were going to
Right.
invade Greenland.
We're
So are you
okay.
saying
We're
like
okay.
that your Secretary of Defense is like a butt plug, like a defense?
We're preparing to have our missiles. We're preparing to have our own army, a large one, and we're preparing to have foods for each and every one. We want works for
Mr.
everyone.
President, I'm using a metaphor here, but are you saying that your defense secretary, that guy, he's like a butt plug, like he's a defense in case somebody tries to hit us from behind?
Yes, because Elon Musk, let me know this.
So
this
so
friend
he's the
is
butt
playing.
plug of your of your presidency then.
Yes, I am very protective of myself, and in these
Well,
times you never know what's gonna happen. A lot of
well,
people want.
I need to replace my iPhone. I still have the iPhone 13, but now, what about the tariffs on the computer parts and auto parts from Mexico and Canada? What's happening there? If you keep that up, my iPhone is going to be twice as much.
It's gonna be the same. That's between the marketing industry, and finance and business. But over time we will get better. Your iPhone, which value $1,500 or $2,000 right now, it's going to be for $1,000 in 2026.
Right.
You know, So it's
I
not
don't
like
know if it's a conspiracy theory, but I read on one of those TikTok posts that there is a new weapon called the tickle stick in the arsenal. Is that true?
the army
It's
they have
supposed
a
to
lot
be a
of
very secret weapon.
they have a lot of
What?
different supplies. They have different supplies, new advanced tools and weapons, that could destroy the whole planet and the human race.
Oh my God, sir,
They
sorry.
have
Are
a
you
lot of
saying
Right.
that there's a
different.
there's a new classified weapon called a tickle stick that could destroy the human race?
Well,
They
that's
they
what I
have
heard, President Trump. That is,
Oh my God. Oh,
if you ever have to use the tickle stick, it's pretty much the end of humanity as we know it. Is that true?
there, as I said, it's true,
I
but
mean,
there.
it's okay if you say it because Secretary Hetsick has already probably posted it on Twitter or something.
yeah, Edwin, this could be
Something
classified
what
weapons research. I
so-
don't know if we should be talking about this.
something what I want to tell everyone that um we love everyone, and we don't mean anyone bad, but in the beginning, the Bible says God created heaven and earth, and then He created Adam and Eve, right? So
Well,
so
nowadays
And on
it's
the third
Adam and
day, he
Adam
created the motorbike.
and even Maria.
yes.
I don't know. It's confusing now.
But what I'm saying, after Adam and Eve, you realize that
Right.
we are now the owners of the land. We are now the owners of the people, and that's why we create schools and we create churches, we create businesses, we
Well, of
create
course, we need
roads.
churches to keep people oppressed.
Adult bookstores.
Yes.
What else?
That's why we create the army, because we have to be strong
Yeah,
for
Adam's teeth.
invaders
Yeah.
and
President Trump.
attackers.
Well,
Both
President
Edwin and
Trump,
I
are you okay
served
with
in the
Adam and
military.
Steve?
No, no, no. I'm not okay
No.
with that. No, I'm
What
okay
about
with.
Eve and Maria? How about Eve and Maria?
No, Eve and Maria. They
Oh,
can't
that
have
sounds.
babies together by themselves.
Yeah,
It's a
but isn't
man.
it? Wouldn't it be fun to just watch at least Eve and Maria?
It's all about the feminine. The feminine. It's not all about the masculine. That's
Well,
why ladies cheat.
that's why I voted for you because you are conservative. You would never
Yes.
do anything inappropriate. Yes.
If you notice, we live on the land, which is a mother. We get everything. We get foods from the land. We get resources from the land. But when
Well,
the
you know
rain
what?
comes, when the
Let
rain
me ask you
falls.
something, President Trump. Can you accept the tickle stick from tariffs?
No, we already have our own supplies. We already have
Oh, so
what
it's
they
already
have.
in the States.
Yes, we have what they have, and they want to be partners, and that's the reason
Right?
why we don't accept immigrants, because we are our own country and our own people.
Well, do you realize your wife is an immigrant? And I'm not just saying that quietly in case you didn't know.
Yes, I know, I do know, but we're married and we have our green cards for the state. We have
Well, because,
citizenship,
well, I
and
understand. I understand she got like a genius visa, right? Because she's like a genius.
yeah, she has our green cards. We have our own house. We have kids. We
Right,
have
right, right.
we have the power to go even to Mexico or even Ukraine.
Now,
Anywhere
what,
we
what
can
about
go
what about
anywhere.
what about birthright citizenship? If you get rid of that, wouldn't your son Baron be deported as well, since he is
No,
Melania's
no,
son?
no. We doesn't give away birthright citizenship. It's all about what happened after. birth. If you want to stay in your
No,
state,
I
or
heard,
if
I
you
heard you're
want
trying
to,
to abolish birthright citizenship. That's what I heard, which is good. That's
right,
why I voted
right,
for you. That's why I voted
right,
for you, President Trump. Yes.
right. But not everyone wants to. Not everyone wants
But
to
screw
accept.
everybody. Screw everybody. It's just what you want. We voted for you so you can do all the things that you want to do.
It's all about we building the people and helping the people to be better people. Okay, it's all about that. We're not
Right.
trying
It's
to
all
rip
about
off.
bettering the race. Did you already, or can you bring the tickle stick manufacturing back to the USA?
As I said, we already have all those supplies already.
Yes, you said you
In
have the
the US.
supplies, but what about the factories? Are the factories still abroad, or are you bringing the factories here to the USA?
They're trying to have their own business, and that's why we told them that they have to have a registered business, or else we're going to take the supplies and we're gonna seize them. You know, even if you create your own firearm and say you want to do
Right?
business, you want to sell business, you want to do guns and stuff. If you don't have the license, we're gonna seize everyone, and that's why no one likes that I'm in power, because I only follow the instructions that was given.
Well,
I
Edwin,
see. I
maybe they
see.
can make the tickle sticks in America, but still they can import the attachments from China. Maybe that would be a good compromise.
Right, right. As you know, that
Exactly.
every equipment, that everything that is in the world, China is a part of it. Ukraine, they want to sell their isles. They have a lot of ink, ink for money and stuff like that. In England, they have ink. They have a lot of materials, that could use to make money, and that's why this whole politics is all about democracy and arguments and challenges, because it's all about who have the best option, who has the best answer to what the people need, to the people rights, and that's what the people need: relevancy. They don't just need a tickle stick. They just need something that could keep them safe in case there is any form of threat or harm.
Well,
Oh my God,
all I
Edwin, I
have to
hope
say
you wrote
is
that
that
down. That
ever since you took office, President Trump, Your Eminence, Your Highness, I've been sleeping very well. I feel
that
protected by
speech was
you.
better than the Gettysburg Address. That was wonderful. USA, USA,
Remember
USA.
there's a lot of illegal activity out there. There's a lot of bad going on. So if you allow criminals to take over, then you can't sleep. But if you allow the law to continue to do what's best for everyone, that's when we are going to survive. No one is free, Edwin. That's why, the cops could tell you, hey, we're going to bring you down to the station. And you said, no, I'm not going. And he said he's going to bring you to court. No one is
Right. Well,
free, Edwin.
I think
So
the
you're
only
not
threat I
free.
see here is that there is not enough tickle sticks for everyone in the United States. I think everybody should have one.
Right. And everyone
You
should
have
be
to ramp
free.
up the production,
free.
President Trump.
It's all about the resource, Edwin, and we are going to have our own resource, our own
Well,
country
take it,
back
President
again.
Trump. Just take it. Don't ask for it. If you need
That
something, go over and take it. You
right,
don't need
right,
to ask.
right.
You're the most powerful man in the universe.
A lot of
Dude,
people, a lot of people want me to die, and I don't fear to die, but that's why sometimes the decisions I make is the rough decisions, because you have to make it hard for the attackers and the intruders, because if you give them that go ahead to take over, the schools and the churches and the lands and, the hospitals.
That's another
and
thing.
everything.
I think it's great that you are abolishing the Department of Education. You know,
They're
who
chasing.
wants to have
They're
kids overeducated?
after-
My kids used to say, oh, you want to do this to me? Go ahead. I know my rights. They would say, they wouldn't know what rights were, and now they think they know their rights. So yeah, I think you should abolish the Department of Education, sir.
That's where everything goes right, but it goes wrong because not everyone wants their children to learn. Not everyone wants their children to serve America or to
Right.
serve as a citizen, as a normal
No, I think
human
they should
being.
all serve. I think
You know.
there should be a draft, a general draft. Anybody over 16 should go in the military, sir. That's what I think.
Right. Work
Right.
and be successful.
And also, what about these women thinking they can vote like us? I mean,
Yeah.
at worst or the most, they should have their vote should be maybe 50%, or like maybe 2 women vote for every 1 man's vote, maybe just so they don't think we took all their rights.
Right. But
President
as
Trump,
we
I have a
know,
question, sir.
as we know that we can't do nothing without the females. They need comfort, and that's all they need. But we have to
Okay,
work
hold on,
hard
President
for it.
Trump. Just give me 1 second, please. Hold on.
President Trump, I have a question, sir. Are you going to try to eliminate the 22nd Amendment so you can run for a 3rd term? Sir, are you there?
Sorry, guys. My boss called. I had to pick up that call, Mr. Trump.
Listen to this idiot
I
ramble.
can't. I
He
got to
has
pick up
no
that
idea what the
call.
fuck he's talking about.
Wore him out.
He probably had to Google what the 22nd Amendment was.